Breaking India strikes Pakistan, and Pakistan replies to it. Two nuclear-armed neighbors have started a war, decades of unresolved conflict. What happens if India and Pakistan go to full war? From conventional battles to catastrophic nuclear fallout, the consequences could reshape the world. Now we break down the terrifying scenarios, global impacts, and why this conflict might be humanity's worst nightmare. Before continuing, if you haven't already, please subscribe to MTB-HD and click the bell for upcoming content. Since their bloody partition in 1947, India and Pakistan have fought 4 wars and countless skirmishes over Kashmir. The first war over Kashmir left 1 million dead. Even peace agreements, like the 1999 Lahore Declaration, collapsed within months. In 2019, a terrorist attack killed 40 Indian soldiers. India retaliated with airstrikes deep in Pakistan. Pakistan shot down an Indian jet, escalating fears of full-scale war. But the incident was just a preview of today's dangers. Fast forward to 2025. Relations are frozen. Pakistan accuses India of ethnic cleansing in Kashmir. India blames Pakistan for sheltering terrorists. Last month, a cross-border clash killed 12 soldiers. Analysts warn, neither side can afford a war, but both might stumble into one. But India conducted a missile attack in Pakistan on May 7, 2025. India and Pakistan have vastly different military capabilities, with India having a larger military with 1.46 million active troops and 1.15 million in reserve, and Pakistan having 654,000 active personnel and 2.5 million paramilitary personnel. India's defense budget is nearly 9 times that of Pakistan, allowing it to buy more weapons, train more troops, and sustain operations longer. India also has a larger navy with an aircraft carrier, nuclear-powered submarines, destroyers, and frigates, while Pakistan's naval force focuses on coastal defense and submarines. Both countries are nuclear powers, with India holding around 172 nuclear warheads and Pakistan around 170. Both countries have a triad of delivery systems, including land-based ballistic missiles, air-dropped bombs, and sea-based launchers. In a hypothetical war, India's capabilities will dominate strategy and caution, but there are some possible conflict scenarios if war goes to full force. India's Cold Start doctrine suggests quick, limited incursions into Pakistani territory, aiming to compel Pakistan to negotiate before nuclear weapons come into play. However, this approach risks escalating a crisis rapidly, as Pakistan might retaliate if it believes a major invasion is imminent. Pakistan's nuclear doctrine is ambiguous, but it allows first use of nukes if conventional defenses are failing. In a war scenario, Pakistan might threaten or use a tactical nuke on Indian troops or bases, leading to larger yield strikes on military and urban targets. A nuclear exchange between India and Pakistan would result in 50 to 125 million fatalities, massive smoke, and global famine. Cyber and electronic warfare could also be a potential threat, with attacks on power grids, communication networks, satellites, and financial systems. Unconventional tactics and proxy actions could also occur, with both sides using proxies to incite rebellions, sabotage infrastructure, or disrupt trade. The India-Pakistan war would be a humanitarian disaster, with civilian casualties increasing rapidly. Millions of people live along the border and in contested Kashmir, leading to mass refugees and destruction of hospitals, schools, and bridges. A larger war in the Indo-Pak theater could kill tens or hundreds of thousands of soldiers and civilians. If nuclear weapons were used, the toll would be orders of magnitude higher, with climate scientists estimating that even a partial nuclear exchange could cause 50 to 125 million direct deaths in India and Pakistan. High-yield explosions would destroy infrastructure, vaporizing buildings and blowing out fuel supplies. The failure of sanitation systems would lead to the spread of disease and the jamming of communication networks. many millions would suddenly be homeless, and refugee flows into neighboring areas would occur. Economically, a prolonged war would shutter factories, halt farming, and crash both economies. Regional instability could disrupt global supply chains, particularly in textiles, pharmaceuticals, and technology, leading to a spike in oil prices. The effects of an India-Pakistan war would echo far beyond South Asia, with immediate neighbors like China and Afghanistan facing huge challenges. China, which borders both India and Pakistan, would likely try to mediate quietly, while Russia, a major arms supplier to India, has developed ties with Pakistan. Both countries have lots of debt from different countries and the World Bank. The United States and Israel are India's growing strategic partners and would strongly urge de-escalation and seek diplomatic solutions. Pakistan has strong bilateral relationships with China, Russia, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and the Gulf Arab countries, as well as close ties with the broader Muslim world. International institutions, such as the UN Security Council, would also act in a crisis. The biggest global consequence would be the climate fallout, with nuclear winter effects like cooling, crop failures, millions dying of hunger, and not staying local. Diplomacy is crucial in a modern war between India and Pakistan over Kashmir. While India has traditionally viewed Kashmir as a bilateral issue, Pakistan has sought global attention. The UN, which has no standing force to intervene, can facilitate talks and demand an immediate ceasefire. Historically, the US, China, and Russia have offered to mediate conflicts, and in a new conflict, the US would likely use diplomatic channels to encourage both sides to avoid war. Non-governmental actors, such as academics and retired officials, could push back-channel dialogue, and international NGOs could mobilize humanitarian relief. Peacekeeping, which has not operated between India and Pakistan since 1972, would likely look more like UN humanitarian missions protecting refugees and rebuilding after fighting. Diplomacy's role is to de-escalate and resolve grievances, but once war starts in full force, it becomes self-justifying. A potential war between India and Pakistan would result in immense losses, potentially determining billions of lives. This scenario serves as a warning that nuclear weapons could lead to history's worst tragedies. Diplomacy and dialogue are the only ways to break the cycle of mistrust, and outside actors and regional players must support back-channel talks and de-escalation. The world has seen the horror of nuclear war once, and the only winnable outcome is preventing war altogether. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres warned in 2025 that the world cannot afford a military confrontation between these two nations. Now wait and see what will happen.